miles or so. Passed something the other day. Unique yard art, they said. I think we're gonna go pick it up. We need some more unique yard art. Welcome to Between the Sharks. All right, gang, so the Model T is actually in the back of the pickup truck out yonder ways, and we gotta find a place to put it, and we gotta find a way to put it there, because this was not a planned purchase whatsoever. We'll review that story in a minute, but first things first, let's try to get it out of the truck and, you know, in a place we can actually look at it. In fact, this is so unplanned that the table I had and had been using to hold this body just next to the chassis has been recycled. In fact, recycled just this week into much more better garage storage. So we're gonna have to make a new kind of holder upper thing. So if you guys are buying bodies, this is a quick way to do it. Now I'll show you what I've already got going on, but you'll get the gist. This already existed actually from a different thing. It was, believe it or not, part of a wooden lap pool that I built during the pandemic. That is obviously that has been disassembled, but that's the weird bracing. The way I do it is 2x4, 2x4, and then 2x4 cross pieces every 2 feet. More than enough piece of plywood, anywhere from 7/16 to 3/4, depending on how much money you want to spend. That's really all you need. Now, the thing that I will do is add these big casters to it, because I have no idea where I got them. They kind of hold air for a while, and then we got to refill them. Now, these things are great, but if you're shopping for something brand new, because casters are so expensive, I think the new solid rubber ones are more better, even for, you know, pushing on rough terrain, because they just don't deflate. So the larger diameter caster you have, the better off you're going to be if you have rougher terrain, if you have endless concrete. Next part of the plan is just to zap these things on. I make a caster plate, so I lag screw these things on to a bigger piece of wood, and then I'm just going to use 3-inch drywall screws, because I have a million of them, and just zap it to this thing and hope they don't break off. All right, there you go. So I got 2 swivel casters up front, 2 stupid casters in the back that don't turn. I did not do the right thing, and I put the air stems on the inside. So that's going to be a bummer when I need to refill these in 5 minutes. One of the front ones is already hissing like an angry cobra snake, so by the time I flip this thing over, it'll be flat. But we don't have to go too far. In fact, I don't even know where we're going yet. So yeah, all right, well, let's flip her over and see if we can get this thing out without destroying it. Lift with your back. Hope they don't break off. All right. I actually got a rear fender. I have no idea if it's the same as a touring fender, but at least we can try. It'll help us maybe get a clue about how we should deal with our Model A fenders in there. So I'm kind of jazzed to have it, even though it's totally hammered. I had no intentions of purchasing this car. I was not looking for another project. I mean, I'm always looking for another project, but I wasn't like looking for another project. Anyway, you guys know what I mean. I was out in rural Georgia. I see this stand that says Unique Yard Art, and it was easy enough to spot from like, you know, 100 yards. That's a 27 Ford Roadster, 27 Ford Roadster, whatever, Model T Roadster with the turtle deck and everything else. Without causing an accident, I swerved in. I talked to the woman that owned it. She had a bunch of neat stuff. We had a long conversation. I told her I was absolutely interested in it. We made a deal. I just, you know, when you can snag on a complete 27 Ford Roadster, complete, you know what you and I are saying. We're not building this out of tiny little parts. There's a lot more car here than there was over here when we started. So, oh yeah, and there's also this other little thing. Let me show you something. So back when I was 19 years old, I was working on my 54 Chevy, and I split my finger open with a grinder. And it was the first time I'd ever gotten stitches, and so I didn't really know how to, you know, work with stitches, and they told me not to. So there I was, kind of laid up, which, you know, first time for everything. Anyway, I took my welding jacket, and I just started drawing on it. I don't know, and there it is, a 27 Ford Roadster. Never had one. I did buy a 27 Ford body. It was basically a shortened touring, and I couldn't find a turtle deck, but I did find a Model T bed. So I made a Roadster pickup out of it. See if I can have a picture of it. I'll put it up there. This was some years after this jacket, and some years ago at this point. I couldn't pass it up. So like, let's actually take a look at it, see what kind of condition its condition is in. All right, let's just go from front to back. Firewall is remarkably straight. The cowl, I would have killed for this. The journey that cowl went on to get half as good as this one is, I mean, weeks and weeks of spare time, like weeks of spare time. We've got typical rust out here at the bottom, but we actually have sub rails. The sub rails are a little cheesed, but not nearly as bad as they could be. We are gonna run them, they're that good. How's that? It has doors. Shock of all shocks. I've also bought doors in way worse condition than this. That is for sure. It actually has the seat frame. It's rough, but yeah. The doors actually have their original latches. They move. I don't know if they're actually free. I've got it on both sides. This is the worst damage there is here. And let me bring you around to the other side, because I actually think this is super recent. She was moving it around with a forklift, and I think that the fork jammed in right here, and that buckled a little bit of the subframe and buckled this thing. Super big bummer, because I think it survived nearly 90 years without that happening, but we can fix it. This door actually still fits. Got a little bit of rust, same rust in the front problem here. Same problem, rust area as the bottom, no big deal. This is kind of the worst part of the turtle deck. This has been kind of crumpled in. I also think that happened while it was getting moved around. Let's go look at the back. This piece still exists. It's incredible. The subframe goes all the way around. Sure, we had a little rust here, but nothing. Remember this thing? Remember what we've been dealing with? This thing may as well be cherry. It's brand new, it's mint. This is wanged out pretty hard over here on this side, but guess what? We know exactly what it should look like, because this side's in killer shape. It doesn't have nearly the rust issues. Even the wheel well is kind of okay. So we've lost a little bit here, but that's a patch panel that we can get. That's a patch panel that we can get if we want to. It's got a dashboard. That's all the crustiness of that. We still have plenty to do on this one. We are a million miles ahead on this body compared to where we were on this body. So I am pleased as punch with this purchase, and I'm really not too intimidated by that. I'm pretty sure we can make that straight and kind of address our issues, because I've kind of just done some general checking, and where the sheet metal is hitting the subframe, it didn't get bent as much as that did. So I'm not really sure if that's stretched or exactly how the metal did what it did here, but you know, it may just be as simple as, you know, this 1.25 inch indentation was enough to buckle that up like that, and that's just it. Not bad for being basically 95 years old, you know? I'm super jazzed on it. So I guess the questions are, what are we gonna do with it? Well, it's just too cool. It leaves us no choice. Looks like we're gonna have to build another hot rod. For those of you fellas out there that actually started watching this channel because of this build, don't fret. We're gonna get right back on it. That one's gonna be backburnered a little bit, as cool as it is. I think this is also super cool. I did take a short break on it because the projects that are all in progress between this, the Mercury, and the motor, everything was just getting disorganized. But I worked late nights and very early mornings, and we're styling. This is as clean as it gets. So next up, we're gonna pull that rear end out, get a spring on it, get this car sitting, and you know, start this chassis build, because I've been dying to get to it, but it's been impossible to get anything moved around in here because I created such a mess. That mess is now solved. We're gonna, you know, roll this other 27 out to the pasture just for a little while we keep working on this, but I could not resist the opportunity of putting them next to each other. Stay tuned, Model Ts everywhere. Thanks for watching Between the Sharks. I really appreciate it very much. I'm super excited about this thing, but I'm also super excited about this thing, and I'm really jazzed that not only do we have enough room to just roll that thing in here when we want to, but I can also roll it right back out, and I got plenty of space to do the chassis work on this thing that I've been dying to do. And it took a hot minute to get that space back. Anyway, good luck on your projects out there. We will see you next time on Between the Sharks.